All right, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy Alex. Today's Friday, and I want to make a video before I go off to work. I don't go to work until 4 o'clock, but I have to reload my tab card. And basically, I have a breaking major announcement. I made a fourth YouTube channel, a reserve YouTube channel, in case of an emergency. I fear that one day in the future, I might make a video that might heavily offend some men or women in the near future. And I have way too much content on my first channel, on my main channel. I have a lot of activity on my second channel, and not too many people go to my third YouTube channel. But this fourth YouTube channel is going to be something that's going to be about a combination of television, film, and anime. As you know, Dragon Ball Super is going to be having its movie, Broly, and that comes out December 14th in Japan, where here in America, the movie will get released in 2019. And I want to do some Dragon Ball Super specials leading up to the movie, to do a movie review. You guys know what I'm talking about. And it's not going to be on my main channel or my second channel. That's going to be on the fourth reserve channel. So for people who love anime, you can go to my fourth channel. My fourth channel will be mostly about television, movie reviews, comic books, and anime. Because I have so much content to talk about, that's what my fourth channel would be. So now I have four YouTube channels. But today's YouTube video is not going to be about anime. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. I'm going to finish up my music series. You'll be surprised who's going to be in the next episode. But today's YouTube video is going to be another one of my sex talks. Sex Talk 101, episode 25 or 26, one of those. And it's going to be sex politics. Now, what is sex politics? Sex politics is where you get a job in the job world. And a lot of men complain that when they try to talk to physically, sexually attractive young women from the ages of 18 to 29, they always get some challenge, some obstacle that gets in their way. And I've been watching some YouTube videos as of lately, and a lot of men have been complaining that they getting a lot of black men for the past 10 to 15 years have complained about their frustrations of getting head on by gay men and expressing grievances. Now all of a sudden I start to see that there are some white men and there's some Latino men complaining about this as well. And it's starting to become a big trend in today's pop culture. And I just thought that I would probably come on here and call the video Sex Politics to explain the phenomenon, because there are other YouTubers who run away and shy away from this issue. And there are guys from the age of 18 to 29 that might want to know, how do I fix this problem, or how do I go around with this problem? And a lot of guys are upset that they're not able to talk to the beautiful, attractive women that they want at their jobs or at school, because there's always some challenge that's in the way. See, life's about challenges, good challenges, bad challenges, a combination of both. And since I'm 32 years old, I qualify, because I have a decade and a half of experience, to explain the good and the bad of it. So you're going to know why I call it sex politics. Now, let's talk about when guys try to go after the young, attractive girl. Now, I made a YouTube video on my main channel, young women versus older women. And I talked about what happens when the guy tries to do it and he gets sabotaged. So if you want to know about that part of the sex politics, that video is on my main channel. But we're going to pick up where I left off in that video in this video. See, you get a lot of these fat, unattractive women. Doesn't matter if it's a fat white woman, a fat black woman, or a fat Latino woman that could be 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and in some worst cases, 500 pounds. And a lot of these women don't get no attention when they're at home. So when they go to work, they want to seek that attention from a man, of course. 99.99% of the time, they want to seek that attention, that validation. And when a man like yourself, who plays basketball, football, that's in great athletic shape. Let's say you're between the height of 5'10" to 6'6". You weigh in between 190 to 245 or 250 pounds of rock solid muscles with big broad shoulders and six pack abs, and you look like you play basketball or football. Well, to a woman like that who's 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds, you are like a 9 or a 10. Where in reality, you're not a 9 and you're not a 10. Because in order to be a 10, you have to be a high value man to be a 10. In real life, you might be a 6, you might be a 7, and maybe on your best day, you might be an 8. But when you mess with plus size women that are from the ranges of 200 to 400 pounds, and then sometimes 500 pounds, in their subconscious, in their mind, you're like a 9 or a 10. You know, to them, you are Leonardo DiCaprio, you are George Clooney, you are Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Morris Chestnut, you are Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You could even throw in Mark Wahlberg and John Cena if you want to. I'm just throwing out some familiar names that you might be familiar with. And usually you may say, well, I'm not physically, sexually attracted to this type of woman. And when you reject a fat woman's sexual advances in the job world, you know what they say, right? Hell have no fury like a woman scorned. She's going to make your experience at work very complicated. That means 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, because you refuse to acknowledge her and give her attention. This happens to me too. And it's like Baskin Robbins ice cream. And the reason why I'm going to use Baskin Robbins ice cream is to explain what I mean by sex politics. As you know, there are 31 flavors of ice cream. There's vanilla, there's Napoleon, there's chocolate, there's strawberry, there's French vanilla, there's orange vanilla. I know you might find this hard to believe, but there's a lot of different versions, different variations of vanilla ice cream. There's French vanilla, there's orange vanilla, there's strawberry, there's orange vanilla ice cream, there's blueberry, raspberry, blackberry, let's see, there's chocolate chip, there's one with almonds, there's Rocky Road ice cream. There's a lot of different flavors of ice cream. There's cheese cake ice cream. As strange and weird as that sound. And then of course they can mix it with candy, you know, Snickers ice cream or Buttercup ice cream, whatever flavor there is of that month. And if you're one of these flavors of ice cream, everyone wants a taste of that flavor of ice cream. And by the way, this is how you find out if you're a physically, sexually attractive man. This is how you find out if you're the alpha male. See, in all my videos, I always talk about what happened if you're not the alpha male, but we never talk about what are the signs if you're a desirable man, or do you have the potential to become the desirable man? You know how you find out? When you get hit on by women you don't find physically, sexually attractive. They say in theory that when you get in your financial prime, not necessarily your physical prime, but your financial prime, you get women who are old enough to be your mother and your grandmother. You get cougars. You get women who are in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and their 70s coming after you because you're about to enter into a new state of your wealth. You're about to hit that level where in your late 30s and 40s, your financial money, your peak starts to go up. Your value starts to go up. And women's value by those advanced ages, their value starts to go down. And they start to notice you a lot. And same thing if you don't like older women. There are some guys that do not like older women that's in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And a lot of times, if you go into the corporate world, like New York City Journal, Wall Street, there are a lot of older women of those advanced ages that are managers, assistant managers, supervisors, assistant supervisors. And you can get blackballed. Blackballed means they can make it where nobody talks to you. Nobody has conversations with you unless you speak to them. That's how they have the power and the control over some men in that type of environment. And then you be scratching your head trying to figure out why no one talks to you, why no one gives you a conversation, all just because you don't want to talk to older women that's in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, their 70s. Or it could be a woman that's 200 pounds. She could be between 200 to 250 pounds. She could be 300 to 350 pounds. She could be 400 to 450 pounds. And like I said, in worst cases, 500 pounds. And usually the only times that a man would even want to have sex with these types of women is for two reasons and two reasons only. One, either he's sexually frustrated and he ain't been getting laid for the last 5 to 10 years of his life. That's number one. Or number two, he is trying to move up on the corporate ladder and he needs to figure out how to make $1,000 into $1 million. He don't want no job. He want a career, and he's trying to figure out economic wise, how can he advance to the next level? Because he sees economic wise, he may not be able to make the money that he wants to make. And he has two choices. He either can quit his job and go get a new job that may not make the same money as he makes currently, or he swallows his pride and damages self-respect, integrity, and end up doing the one thing he does not want to do, which is you guessed it, have sex with one of these women. And the reason why I say this in the video is because I'm trying to make a video without people blasting their bloody music. Like I was saying, economically, this will happen. Now, pay attention because this is going to go pretty smoothly. When you, as a man, can't get beautiful, attractive women from the age of 18 to 29, it's primarily because these women want you to pay attention to them. And there have been some cases in cities and states where heterosexual men like me and you were blackballed and blackmailed and were faced with two options. Either you comply in compliance, or you get fired and you lose your job. And usually it's always some overweight woman or some older woman that has a lot of power and a lot of control at their disposal. Translation, sex politics. Now there are some older men that have some power too, but a lot of times the older guys, they don't care if you talk to young attractive women, but you can't get them because you don't have the money and the status. So the older guy be smiling like, go ahead, talk to all the 18, 19, 20-year-old women you want. You ain't got no money, you ain't got no status, you can't do shit. So they don't care. But the older women that's in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, in their 70s, they actually do care. So they make it difficult for you because they want the attention. And these are women that are past their prime, that have hit the wall, and too stupid and delusional to accept the reality. You've had your fun in the spotlight. You've had your time. And same thing if it's an overweight woman. And like I said, there's only two reasons on why a man would do such a thing. Number one, he's sexually frustrated and he has not gotten laid in the last 5 to 10 years. Number two, economic wise, he wants to move up the corporate ladder. He wants to get from one level to the next level. And he wants to go from making thousands of dollars to making millions of dollars. And if he needs to make a lot of money, he has to make alliances. He has to make friends with a lot of people he don't want to make friends with. Now, let's talk about guys complaining about getting hit on by gay guys. Now, first of all, I don't want no one to come to my YouTube channel and say that I'm defending the fuckery. I have nothing against gay people, okay? Let's get that straight. I have nothing against gay people. It's not always the case. I'm making a video for it because I've gone on YouTube and I've noticed some videos that pop up. And I noticed a lot of white men and Latino men are now expressing angry grievances and frustration of being hit on by gay men. And a lot of these white men and a lot of these Latino men do not like it, and black men have been complaining forever. Now, when a gay guy hits on a heterosexual man, it's the same reason why a fat woman and a older woman is doing it. They find that guy physically, sexually attractive. And guess what? I've been hit on by 2 or 3 gay guys and I don't like it. But what you'll never see me do is lash out in anger and rage and say, what I do is I usually strike up a conversation and say, I'm not interested in you. And you, oh yeah, I had some of got angry. I've had some take it personal. I even had some that even would even try to threaten me if they saw me again. So yeah, your boy is in the, I don't want to say I'm in the corporate world, but I've seen some stuff where the average person would shake their head and said, "Oh hell no." I've seen some shit that you just wouldn't believe. Let's put it that way. I've seen some shit you just wouldn't believe. Like, you swear to God, this came out of a movie, a TV show. And you see a lot of times when you get hit on by fat women or older women old enough to be your mother or grandmother, these women find you physically, sexually attractive. It's like you are a flavor of ice cream. You are the flavors that they find at Baskin Robbins. And you see, it's not high class or middle class women who do this. It's usually low class women who do this because they never get to date none of the desirable alpha males of society. They don't get to date George Clooney, Leonardo DiCaprio. They don't get to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. They don't get to see Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Morris Chestnut, whoever is hot and popular in pop culture. They don't get to see those type of men. So when they see somebody like you who's played basketball, football, baseball in high school and college, and you work at a store, you know, they look at you as if you are Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. They look at you are like you're Tom Brady from the New England Patriots. And you get that and you be shaking your head like, I don't want you. And then this messes with your job performance because you got to give everyone some attention. Now, there's a balance between showing people some attention and giving too much attention. And then that can cause you a lot of problems. I mean, when you get blackballed, it's not funny because nobody talks to you. People are not willing to listen to what you say. It's like being Will Smith from the movie of Enemy of the State. You are the enemy because you don't want to conform to compliance. Compliance means rules to be reinforced. And when you refuse to take issue with compliance, you know, there's a penalty. Okay, we'll mess with your money. Since you don't want to listen to the rules, we'll mess with your money. You know, they mess with your money 1 or 2 times. Instead of working 8 hours, you work 6 hours. Instead of working 6 hours, now you're working 4 hours. The more you ignore them, the more they mess with your money. Once they mess with your money, they got your invited attention. And a lot of times, it ain't got to be a man who's doing it. It can be an older woman who's doing it because you're not in compliance with the rule. And you get a lot of beta male men who will warn you and tell you don't try to be alpha in the presence of the powers that be. You'll get that too. So we call it sex politics. And a lot of times when you hear someone say, "Oh, stop kissing somebody's ass," the reason why a lot of these people do this is because economically they're looking at their choices. They're looking at, I can't make no money unless I do what they ask me to. Now, unless you got your own business or you have a second job that they don't know about, which I'm going to talk about in this video. Sometimes companies don't like when you have 2 jobs. Like, they say it's okay to have 2 jobs, but you know and I know and the Undertaker from WWE and Vince McMahon know that's bullshit, because when you get 2 jobs, they make it into a problem. I had 2 jobs for a long time, and they didn't like the fact that I had a second job. They thought my second job was more important than the first job. And I'm like, well, you're not showing me the proper respect that I deserve. So why should I stay at a place that's not gonna, entertain the idea of giving me more money? You don't tell them that in the office. But when they feel like you're getting a second job, they feel like you're stabbing them in the back. And 9 times out of 10, if you were to get fired, they can care less where you go. But what I'm trying to tell you is when you get a second job, that's when you see these people have angry grievances with you, and there's politics involved. Like, why this other person can have 2 jobs and never get confronted about it? You get 2 jobs, you get a punishment. And a lot of times it's somebody behind the office, behind the scenes, that has an issue with you. And when you first get hired on a job, you want to pay attention to everyone and see who doesn't get the most attention. 99.99% of the time, I can almost guarantee you it's some older woman or some fat girl that doesn't get a whole lot of attention. That's the one who makes your life hell. Now, if it's a gay guy that's harassing you, a lot of times that might be because he's been ignored at the job. People at the job ignore him. When he go at home, he gets ignored. He go to on a road trip, he gets. These are people who have power. And when you see that there's people who have power, they want to be acknowledged. I want to be taken serious. And you see, I made this video because there are some white guys and there are some Latino guys that are scratching their heads saying, I don't want no gay guy. I want a woman. And when you're at a job, you got to remember the golden rule. Everyone is looking at you and what you say and what you do. The difference between an entrepreneur and a person who works at a job is that a person at a job has to focus and remember you have to follow compliance. A person that's an entrepreneur don't have to kiss nobody's ass. They can do as they please because they have their own business. They have their own company. So they're not limited. A person at a job is very limited. And once they learn the politics, once you use politics to your means, you'll be surprised what you can get away with when you learn the politics. Now, depending on how good this video gets well received, I might come back with a sex politics part 2. I don't want to make this video too long or too short. I do have to work. Until next time, peace.